about 6 acres. I'm Nick, and today is Vlogmas Day 22. And today's gonna be a little bit different because Juana is sick and I'm feeling a little under the weather, so we're gonna do a little throwback video to a focaccia video that we did for Instagram to share it with you. And hopefully we get to feeling better tomorrow so we can both be on camera and share an interesting video with y'all. So hope you guys enjoy. Have an awesome day.
I love making sourdough focaccia, and my favorite is doing it as like a pizza. So I put on all of the toppings and it's just so delicious. So yesterday I fed my starter. I had put teeniest part of my actual sourdough starter in it and then fed it with way more, and you can see how well it does. So that is something that I love. It keeps the starter really happy and healthy. I'm going to put a list of the ingredients that you need for the sourdough focaccia right here. The other thing that I'll mention is I do use a mixer for it because of how the dough is. You don't have to use it, but it does help. Okay, so I'm going to add everything to this bowl except for the olive oil. So I have the all-purpose flour in here. I'm going to add the bread flour, and I already pre-measured everything. I'm going to add the salt and the water. The water I like to add in warm as well, so it's probably at about 80 degrees, which is a good, place for it to be for me, or good temperature. And then I'm going to add the starter, and I have this on a scale so I can weigh the starter directly in there. Let's add that, and I need 115 grams. Now I like to use a spatula, like a silicone spatula, just because it makes it easy for me to clean up. It's a little bit harder to do the metal spoons to clean them, so I try to use silicone spatula whenever possible. And I'm there. Alright, so all of this is going to go on like setting 2 or 3 on the KitchenAid mixer. Alright, so I'm going to turn it on and it'll mix at the lowest setting until everything gets combined, and then I'm going to turn it up to the next setting. I usually don't put my lock on just so that it won't burn out the motor. So I actually put it on setting 2. So now I'm just going to let it do its thing for like 5 minutes or so. Now that it looks like it's pumping around the dough hook, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and let it rest for 10 minutes. Okay, the dough has been resting for 10 minutes and it's visibly relaxed. So now I'm going to turn it back on and add in the olive oil that I've already pre-measured. Probably for about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to move it to my bulk fermentation container. So it's been 30 minutes and I'm going to do my first set of stretch and folds. You can see where it's spread out pretty well. I'm going to get a container to have water in it because wet hands will help with this very sticky dough. Try to go around the whole container just to loosen it a little bit. But again, it's so sticky. It's really hard to get all of it. All right, probably go around it a couple more times, but the reason I like this is because it's a same day focaccia and it's not dependent on me overproofing bread. So we'll cover and then come back in 30 minutes for the second set. This is stretch and fold number 2. So I have my water handy. Just gonna wet my hands, loosen the sides. You can see it's starting to like have a little bit more compactness, you know, staying together a little bit better. Still a blob, but you know. So I'm going to do another stretch and fold here, and then probably the next one I'll do a coil fold. But you know, if you are focaccia dough and you're a blob, it's really not a bad thing. And you can just see how it's starting to hold together a little bit better. And so I'm going to cover it and then come back in 30 minutes for the next round. We're on stretch and fold number 3. And so there's some signs of life. You know, you see some of the bubbles there, but I'm just going to get my hands wet and loosen it from the pan. And for this one, I'm just going to do a coil fold. And a coil fold is just a different kind of fold if you're not familiar with it. Basically, you take your dough from the middle and then you just stretch it onto itself, nice and gentle. And then I'm going to flip it and do the same. And you can start to see where like the dough is starting to look nice and soft and velvety, and it really does feel nice and soft and velvety. I think it's just because of the higher hydration. But so pretty. You can see some of the bigger bubbles there too. So this is number 3. I'm going to come back in 30 minutes and do our last one. We're at the 4th and final stretch and fold, and you can just see how much the dough has changed. It's so smooth, lots and lots of bubbles, lots and lots of activities. So I'm going to do another round of coil folds, and then we're going to prep the pan to put it in, and that's where it's going to finish its bulk fermentation time. So just coil fold, like I said, nice and gentle, mostly. I promised I was trying to be gentle, but basically you just pull it and stretch it to yourself. So there we go. Okay. All right, so now we're going to prep our pan for them to go in. So you have options here. You can use a 9x13 pan, metal pan, or you can use like these cake pans. These are 9-inch, I think. I like to use my roasting pan because I don't have a metal 9x13 pan, and this is a good size. It's nice and big, and so it's a lot easier for me to cut my focaccia and all of the ingredients and everything. So this is what I like to use, and the way that I prepare it is I put some olive oil at the bottom, and then I'm just going to use my hands, but normally I just go ahead and brush it on. And then to make it easier for me to clean, because I'm always thinking ahead, don't like to clean, I just go ahead and put a piece of parchment paper. You can definitely cut your parchment paper, but when you put the oil at the bottom, what it does is it allows the parchment paper at the top not to move. So that helps out, and then you can go really, really liberal with the olive oil that you add on top. And so that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to take my dough and I'm going to put it on here, and this is where it's going to stay for the next couple of hours. So I'm just going to take it gently, put it in there, and then I'm just going to let it rest in here. But for the next hour, you can come and just gently kind of coax it to the corners of the pan. It's going to fill out no matter what. But, you know, if you want to just make sure, you can certainly do that. So like I said, this is pretty much it for the next 4 hours or so. But then I will see you then. Yeah, see you in a few hours. So while my dough bulk ferments, I'm gonna go ahead and take some of the last tomatoes from the garden. So we had picked these last week, and I'm going to marinate them in the fridge so that when the dough is ready, I can just top it with it. And I mentioned I like topping my focaccia like it's a deep dish pizza, and it works perfect. So there's not a lot of tomatoes. We'll add other things, but I just want to make sure that I have something yummy from the garden in there. So I'm doing tomatoes. I'm doing a little bit of basil, and this is dried basil because I don't have any fresh one right now. I'm gonna do about 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinaigrette. Sorry, balsamic vinegar, not vinaigrette. And then I had frozen some garlic and olive oil. I'm gonna put that in there. And I had defrosted too much. It's gonna be too much garlic. So I'm also gonna add a little bit of salt. And kosher salt is probably better, but gotta use what I have. So then I'm just gonna stir it and let it sit in the fridge for as long as that bread is bulk fermenting. You can also add a little bit of honey to it. So that's what I'm gonna do too, just add a little bit of sweetness. And this is from Fairlane Farms, so almost done with it. But I'm gonna try to add some of that as well. Get a little bit of sweetness, not too much, but it is so yummy. And so this will sit there. The longer it sits, the better it'll taste actually. But I'm giving it an ultimatum and it's got 4 hours to taste good. So we'll see you then. Now comes my favorite part of baking focaccia, which is the dimpling. So I've preheated my oven to 450. It's gonna go in there for 30 minutes and I'm gonna rotate it at the halfway mark and add the cheese. But let's get to dimpling. For this, you're gonna wanna make sure that your hands are nice and wet. And sorry for all the shadows. It's just the lighting in my kitchen. One day I'm gonna make that better. But you just wanna go ahead and just put your fingers in there. Make sure you're getting all the way to the bottom. And you'll start to see some of the bubbles pop in. Now in the summer, I get a lot more bubbles because obviously it's warmer in the house. I didn't put this in a mat. I could have done that as well. So it's not gonna be as bubbly as it could be in the summer, but you can see there's some nice bubbles there. You just want to keep everything very even. I'm going to add some of the olive oil. And you can never have too much olive oil. And then what you would do is basically top it with whatever you want. So if you wanted some rosemary, sea salt, or whatever you want, you can top it with. I'm going to top it like a pizza, and then I will show you what it looks like at the end. So like I said, 30 minutes in the oven at 450. You're going to rotate the pan at the halfway point. That's the point that I normally add cheese, because I do add cheese to mine. So this is what it looks like at this point. So I'm going to add a light layer of shredded mozzarella cheese on the side with the pepperoni. And then on both sides, I'm going to add some of the fresh mozzarella. So I'm going to turn it around and then bake it for another 15 minutes. And I cannot wait to try this. And here it is, completely done. So if you want to check the internal temperature, just in case you can, I usually look for 200. It might be an arbitrary number I came up with just because that's what I normally look for my sourdough bread, but it has not let me astray yet, so that's a good thing. And then if you kind of pull on this, you can just see it looks nice and light, nothing dark, so that's a good thing too because the crust is nice and soft. Now, if you wanted a more crusty crust at the bottom, then maybe I would forego the parchment paper. But this is going to be delicious. It smells so good in here. So we're going to be eating. Normally I wait 10 minutes before cutting, but we didn't. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Isn't that good? Look at all those nooks. It just looks so good. And then that's what it looks like. Obviously, I top it with a lot more, and you saw some of the other ones had some pepperoni in it. But let's try it out. It is hot. You can see that steam, right? Let me see if Nick will try it with me. All right, let's try it. It's hot.
It's hot. It's very fluffy.
So good.
Very soft and fluffy.
And chewy. It's got that nice chewiness that you want in a focaccia, so just so yummy. What do you think?
Very good.
We're all sitting down to eat, enjoying our Roselle hibiscus tea. What do you think, Jean?
Magnificent.
I didn't even have to pay him.
It's pretty good.
It is really, really delicious.